vlog. Welcome. I'm outside. I figured I want to change up a little bit and I could do outside for a little bit. And the book is The Hatmakers by Tamlin Merchant. She's actually a actress, which is pretty cool. And since it's a library book, I'm gonna be using this to tab what I want to know, talk about and all that. So yeah, so I'm gonna start reading. It's gonna be the outside setting. I'm also going to start tell you about other books I'm reading, but it's mainly going to be the Handmakers middle grade book. So I'm going to go right into it. Yeah, look at this map. Cool, right? Yeah, even though it's like middle school, I like stuff like that. So I'm gonna go start reading chapter 1. Okay, so I only read the first 2 chapters, and already it's it's really good. It starts out like with the storm, and so she hears this knocking along with the thunder and the storm and everything, and it turns out she hopes it's her father knocking on the door. She runs through the house and past the shop, like the shop stuff, and it is not her father. It is Lord Whitloof, something like that. And right off the, and her father is on a ship called Jolly Bonnet, and it kind of was coming in, and a wave came and it hit the ship to the rocks. And there's one quote here that I really liked, and I think kids will like this as well. And it says, "The ice spider was spinning its freezing web around her insides," because like you could just tell, you could feel that the things went bad for her father, and that that the ship sunk, and that her father's name is Captain Hatmaker, that is lost at sea. And then she goes to sleep, and then she wakes up with an idea saying what is lost can be found. So maybe she tries to find her father who's lost at sea. So we'll see how this goes. But I just wanted to do a quick intro to this and read a little bit, and I hope you enjoy this vlog. And I'll catch you up when I read something. So, see you later. Hey, welcome back to the vlog. Different view, still outside. But I'm going to... Okay, so as always, remember that my vlogs are spoilery. My other stuff, any other videos I put up, will either be non-spoilery a lot, but my vlogs, just so you know. So anyway, where we left off, I think she thinks that her dad is not lost at sea, and they're making a hat for the king, and the reason why her father went out to sea was to find this certain owl feather. So since they were grieving, they had to, since they were hat makers, she's too young to do hat makers. She I think at 16 is when they start making hats. So, but she's still too young. But anyway, so since they were grieving over her father, her aunt and uncle were making the hats. But they were wearing a certain type of silly looking hat because it prevents them projecting their grief onto the hat, which is not a very good thing. And then there's this story that she talks about her father, and how her father tells her how she was born, and she was born at sea. And that story is sweet because her mother, it also tells you, like, they went on a hat hunting adventure together, and that's how she was born on the coast of Morocco. And many weeks later, a terrible storm was upon them, and her father was at the wheel, and there was a fire, and there was smoke, and her mother jumped off who was missing, and she was thrown off, and he was put in a thing, thrown off as a baby. He jumped in to save her, not save her, but to get her. And by the time he got her, his child, the main character, as a baby, he turned around, and his mother and all that, and his wife was missing, her mother, and everything was burnt down. And I want to show this picture because you know how I said that this is where they make the hats. Like, that's the coolest picture. That's one of the reasons I like middle grade. There's books like Brandon Sanderson. He has pictures in his books, but most adult books don't really have pictures in it. Like really. And the phrase for Hatmakers is "do no harm," and it's in Latin, and I don't know the Latin. It says here in Latin, but I don't know how to say it. I'm not gonna try. But I guess you guys could just, ask someone else. If you already know, you could just say it. So on their 12th, so there's a quote that I want to share, and it says, "On your 12th, Lil's Hatmaker, you will begin to learn about the power ingredients we use to trim hats. We'll begin with feathers, and then person have promised. Feathers have so much magic and personality in them." I think that was pretty cool. And let's see. So the hat maker's mind, like I said, that it's really important to be in a certain way because you could. So here's a quote that explains more. It's most important to keep good ingredients flowing from your mind to the hands of the hat. So it's really important that you have really good intentions when you're doing it. There's even a cabinet of bad intentions, and it's locked up, and she can't get into it. But she's very curious of what ingredients are in the bad intentions. So I'm assuming there must be I don't know, there should be a villain that who has bad intentions into things. But this must be this is a kid's, maybe, I don't know. You use spider silk because spiders work hard to make their webs, and this hat is to help the king work hard. And a brown sooty spider makes paper and silence, and the king needs paper and silence to concentrate. So like there's really cool stuff like that in it. And they're so they make the hat, and I don't so this is really cool, is that they take, so like there's like this storm that so like how in the beginning I said there was a storm and her father got lost at sea. So they collected the storm water, and storm water is best straightener, and sometimes surviving a storm is the make of the person. And I think that's so cool. So they get to the king's palace once the hat's fixed. They get to the palace, and the guards are running everywhere trying to catch paper and different things, and they finally get to see the king, and he is silly. Like he's stuck on silly. Like he's running around. He takes I think it's type of like sticks something, or I forget exactly what he uses, but he uses it to pretend to be it's a horse. He makes raspberries, and this is a whole scene where like little young readers will find very, very funny. I found it amusing, not haha laugh at. Some things were like a little chuckle, but mostly it was, if you're a young kid, this would be perfect. And I kind of like, see, you know how like most kings has to be serious and taken seriously all the time, and this king right now is being super silly. So Cordelia, the main character, if I didn't say her name, the main character's name, her is Cordelia, and Cordelia thinks to herself, she says, "Poor king," Cordelia thought. "It must be very difficult to always have to be sensible. It must be awful for people to take you terribly seriously all the time. And it must be lonely to have nobody to dance with." See, things like that, and like little quotes, and then seeing the king be silly, like the king, like it's saying like how the king can't be silly. They have to be. They can't have like maybe humor personally, but when they're around public and some friends, they have to be regal. They can't be running around. And so they try to get the king to all these pieces of clothing, a hat, a cape, and shoes, and probably other things, and if they're all combined together, maybe it will help cure the king. So all at once, everyone tries to get the king to wear these things, and he was fighting so hard because he didn't want to wear the shoes, and in the scuffle, the hat gets ruined. And it was a bunch of chaos, and so the doctor just says no, that the whole using like the old-fashioned superstitions is nonsense, and that he is going to take the king out to the sea because his mind is too hot. And that they need to cool his mind, so he's gonna take them to the sea. So where I'm at is a young boy is selling newspaper, and so the sun's my eyes. He's selling paper, and he's saying, he's yelling Mac-ing, MAAAKK-ING, okay? And so she gets the boy to tell her the same answers as Cordelia. She says to him, "What are you trying to say? Speak plain English." And Matt and the paper is saying Mad King. So that's where I left off. I'm gonna try to read a little bit more, and later today, or maybe tomorrow, but I'm really gonna try to read more today because I have work tomorrow, and I am skipping today's catching up on videos, and today is just catching up on reading. And I'll catch up with you guys later, and hopefully the sun won't be so bad later. But I will see you soon, and have a great, see you guys later. Alright, so it is still the same day, and I read a lot more. I'm about like halfway through, so yeah. Where was I? Somewhere. I don't know. But, so, so now the paper saying that the king is, crazy. And so now that the princess is in charge for a little bit while the king's away, and later they have to make a peace hat, and the other makers have to make like boots and cloak maybe, and clock and all that. And you find out that the boot makers and the hat makers don't really like each other, are not really supposed to be friends, but Mrs. Stairbottom befriends Cordelia and a young boy, one of the bootmakers, make them as friends, and she rendezvous meeting up with a man, while while her two charges that she teaches to both of them, and each one don't know about the other. So she does so that scene. Then they run into the glove makers and children, and they're both sets of twins, both boys and both girls, I think. And that's a whole thing. And they're not supposed, like, it's sad that Cordelia can't be friends with the boy, and you could tell from like the scenes that were written, they were pretty good close friends, and she's all about trying to find her father, and she does things that a young kid can do, and the boy's name is Goose, and they, like I said, they play together, and like I said, there was the glove makers' children, and they're bullies. They bully these kids, and they run away because Cordelia says something bad, like that she made something, that the glove makers made something for Queen Elizabeth, and that made her slap herself in the face continuously for half an hour in front of the Spanish king. So they hide in like a weeping willow, and once that's gone, they overhear a conversation between the governess and her love interest, and they think it is a lovers that she's waiting for him to propose to him, but I think it's something else. I won't find out until a little later, and so she's learning, since I think she's like 12, so she's learning what each ingredients are, and everything else, and about learning about magic and everything else. But her uncle Tiberius taught her the twist of thread through her fingers and think of a word to describe how each thread felt. And the thread holds the creation together, he told her, like a melody of a song holds the notes. And certain things, like, and measuring angles between sections, and her a pair of compass before drawing, like, but like the measurements are by hand, and it was weird that she thought that was straight, like complicated way to learn. And the hat making lessons with her father were her favorite, because he took her on the Jolly Bonnet, and there's these jumping beans, and she has to catch these jumping beans, and she does. She catches it, and how she catches it is like she was laying there and pretending to fall asleep, and one of the beans fall in her mouth, and that's how she jumps into her mouth. That's how she catches it, and then she runs into a hammock, and she wraps him up in the hammock, and that was cool. But when Cordelia asked her father what is her magic, because each person has their own unique magic, and the little But it's up to you to discover what it is. You got to venture into your own heart and head and belly to find out just what your own special magic is made of. So basically, you have to find your unique self as well on that one. And then here there's a whole there's a so I guess she's in like the captain's cabin or the captain's thing, whatever you call it, and there's these like wax steel topped bottles, and she asked her father what they are, and he said they're special inks. A tiny bottle of one is invisible. It becomes visible when exposed to heat or of a candle flame. One can only be seen by starlight, and one only appears on a Tuesday, and they're all good for sending secret messages. Cordelia, so she's like, how does it work? And he said, magic, Dilly. Magic is everything natural in the world. Magic lives in the wind, the rivers, in the earth and sunlight. It follows the trees and rocks and born all creatures. But most people have forgotten it, or even worse, have forgotten. They think it's old-fashioned. And then she asked how people could forget, and some people are never taught, and some people spend their lives trying very hard to be sensible. Cordelia, what was once known as the Magic Age is now called the Dark Ages by people who think they know best. And then he continues, and now it's more machines are being made, and more children are being put into work to small factories, and they are calling this the Age of Enlightenment. I explained that if I can remember history well enough, that explains the time then, how things have changed during the age where children were laborers. There was no child labor laws, and they were overworked in factories and chimney sweeps. The one poem from William Blake. I forget what it's called. But anyway, it goes on, and it says, our hats help, he told her. They connect people with magic contained in the treasures that I collect. They connect people with their own inner magic, even when they don't know it. Has the magic in some people have gone, Cordelia whispered. It's never really gone, Prospero assured her. Forgotten magic is like a flower in winter. It disappears down into the depths of a person, and anyone looking could be forgiven or thinking it had been gone away completely, but it hasn't gone. It is just to be woken up again. Then she asked how does he know all this, and that he used to be a alchemist. He used to study alchemy for years, and in alchemy you have to produce gold, like make gold, and the experiments to gold, but he realizes that it cannot be done, at least not in the way the books say. The true alchemists must turn their soul to gold. To do this, the experiment we must anticipate in the great experiment of life. then Cordelia is her family is summoned to the palace, and so she's in charge of the store, and so different people come into this store, and a boy comes in and says he's gonna be a duel, but he needs a hat to help him aim well, because the other person is a better shooter than he is. So the motto is do no harm. So she finds the hat, and it's a love beetle. It's a bright red pink love beetle wings gleaming all over this hat. So she lies and says it's Chinese dragon cells and that they're babies, and he goes, how's a baby dragon dangerous? And they haven't gotten control of their flame breathing yet, so it makes it more dangerous. And a hiccup, you're on fire. So, but she tells this young man not to wear the hat until it happens, when he sees the other guy. So more people come in, and then there's a guy who wants confidence in stage, because he's an actor and he's a play, and he wants more confidence. And then she's too young to know. She hasn't really taught to make hats yet, but she knows she's learning the ingredients, and she's not supposed to. So she puts ads on to a already confident hat, and then the other guy for the duel comes in, and she gives him a hat and tells him to do the same exact thing, not to put the hat on until he sees the other guy when they duel, okay? But back to the other guy, he thanks her, and she says, well, give me tickets to the play. So she gets tickets to the play. Well, not tickets, but she gets like the second best balcony, and she takes her friend, one of the bootmaker friend, to go with her. And but before that happens, she comes home and finds out that they have to make a peace hat between the French, for the French. And so she asks what could she do. So she finds a ruin for peace, and I want to show a picture. There's the other picture. And so she goes, and and everyone's busy, so she couldn't really tell anybody, so she leaves a note. So on her way, she runs into the news kid again, and says that any new, the news is sort of like bad news every time. And so when she meets the boot boy, and then they go, and on their way, like I said, on their way there, she runs into the girl who's involved. Well, I missed the part when I told you when the first one came in, I had to do something about the boy, about a boy saying something horrible about, it was said something bad about his girlfriend or a girl or whatever. And then when the other guy came in and told her that she looked like a donkey or something, or a goat or something like that, and so Cordelia takes Copper, goes hide behind a tree or something, and sees this going on, and like you could tell that the girl tried to set up these two boys against her, or something along those lines, and they run into each other, and I guess the girlfriend's name is Janet, and the boy who has the girlfriend tells her to shut up or to be quiet, really, and or to stay out of it, really, but like basically what we would say today, to shut up. So the one boy is Archibald and the other one is Ferdinand, and you have been so they see each other and they're like, you, Archibald said, and then Ferdinand said, you have been a thorn in my side for too long. Ha, brother Ferdinand, you are not sharp enough to be thrown, Baldy, but worth you're a pebble to. Okay, so Archibald Ferdinand is the one guy, and Baldy Burtworth is the other dude. Sorry, you British people in two first names, I swear. Anyway, you're this, and then you're a pebble in my shoe, a dull gray at that. And then, as it is time for our pistols, Archibald announced, shaking away Janet, and he never took his eyes off of Ferdinand. Cordelia pulled, and then that's when she pulled her again behind. Okay, so, and then Janet said, and Janet's going, "Hey, me," a sure voice. "Oh, do you shut up, you bleeding, sniffing goat," Ferdinand barked at him, poking at a pistol. "How dare you?" Janet bawled. 10 paces, Archibald yelled. Cordelia, and then, so the boys take the pistols and take long strides opposite directions and turn to face each other, right? It gets good. And then, they open their hat boxes, and takes their hats out, and they put it on, okay? They just jam it on their heads, and Janet is watching with eager triumph look on her face. Okay, so this is where you know Janet did this on purpose. Put in these two boys, okay? And there was a moment when the guns should have shot, right? And that passed. And Archibald blinks many times, and the love beetle strings sling on his hat. And Ferdinand grasped quietly. One hand went to his chest, and the other hand, holding his pistol, fell limply at his side. Archibald dropped his pistol to the grass and was dazzled by Ferdinand and find the eyes idolizing in front of them looked tenderly back at him. The boys walked bashfully towards each other. "What on earth are you doing?" Janet hissed. Archibald, who ignored her, "Goose." So her friend screwed her eyes out, but she tells him to look. Okay, so the boys are facing each other, and so, "Oh, Boldy," Ferlin breathed. "Ferdy," Archibald answered softly, "You are not a thorn. You are a beautiful rose." "And you're not a dull pebble. You are a diamond," Fenrir whispered, and he reached up and tenderly touched Archibald's cheek, and Archibald blushed, and in one sweet rush, Fenrir kissed him. "What?" Janet shrieked. "That's not what I meant to happen." So I wonder what she and then they do something. Then the boys pull apart, staring at each other in surprise. For a terrible frozen moment, Cordelia thought they were going to kill each other by their own hands when they pulled off the hats. And then Archibald did something nobody expected. He leaned forward and kissed Ferland again. That was pretty cool. Now just wait until so they get to the play, and the princess is there with the the hand guy, the whatever the rural thing where the guy helps the king or queen or something like that. What's his name? His name is Lord Whitwolf. Now this guy, I think this guy is the villain. And honestly, I think he's lying and writing things out. But there was a letter to the king, to the princess, from the French king, writing to the Princess Regina. And the letter is pretty funny. So I'll just he says, "You're a little more than a girl playing in a palace with a China tea set." And then he says that your father is giddy as a springing Ginny. And then, because the one part that's really funny is that she says, "One of my mother's poodles, Frou-Frou, take the job. Frou-Frou is a very good dog. He sits on command and can count up to 10, which is more than I have heard about you." Like, things. So, and then they're like talking because he's trying to tell her, "Oh, like, I can have things built." How many? Saying like he is saying things like new cannons and build canoes or something like that, all for a war, not peace. Okay. So the actor is like, because of the hat, he's overly what he was before he had the hat, and even more confident and overdoing things. And so here's a picture of the actor and all that more art. So after the play, there was an attempted assassination of the princess, I think. But before that, she finds out that Cordelia finds out that one of the there was a survivor of her father's ship, and she went, and that's what the princess told her. But Lord Whitwolf went to question him already. And then the next day, after the whole assassination thing, it is, she wants to go see this Henry person, the one who survived. And, Goose says that he would go with her the next day, but that didn't happen. So then, because the next morning, there was someone thieved them of the hat, the peacemaker hat. And they had to call the examiner guy. The thief tracker. That's what they called it. They called him the thief tracker. And they've noticed that the medicine cabinet was taken, and along with the master key. Now, the master key isn't what you think it is. Okay? So, and Cordelia goes up to the library and sees that there's a handprint on the window, and she tries to tell the thief tracker, this guy, what she's seeing. He dismisses it, and comes up with these half horrible, half weird conclusions, to be like really not like incompoop. More like an incompoop ideas and how it happened. Now I'm trying to find the dude's name because it's kind of interesting. The thief taker's name, but I can't find it. So we're gonna keep going. And so then she's gonna go meet her friend, and because she was late because of the theft. And then she runs into Sam Lightfinger, who does the paper and all that kind of stuff, and is going around with this assassination in front of the bootmaker's house. And the mother of her friend Goose comes out and hits her and scoots her out of the way. And they go somewhere else, and she goes on her own to find Henry. Now, when she gets to the dock, the guy is in poor conditions of whatever the place is, ship something, or I forget what it's called, but he's staying there, and then in a sleeping sea dog, which is a person asleep outside, and alcoholic or drinking or whatever. So she goes in and tries to wake up Jack, but she drowses him with water, and he freaks out, and she tells them that no, like, you're on land, you're safe, you're fine, everything's fine. She asks him, do you know anything what happened with their father? And then he realizes, oh, hey, this is Cordelia. So, and then Jack gives her something, a message, or the telescope, the spyglass, or whatever you call it, to her, and there's messages, but she finds out later that there's a paper, but it's blank. But I don't think she realizes, hey, maybe it's a secret message. But anyway, so she looks through so her governess finds her, takes her back home. Then when she gets home, she asks if they could take care of Jack. She explains the poor conditions he's staying in, and they're like, oh, he needs to come here. And then they have the carriage person go fetch him, but she can't go with him. She has to stay and organize, and that's pretty neat because some things are put away on their own. The organization system is very precise and has to go in a precise way and in its right precise place. And then she finds out that Jack's not there anymore. Someone took Jack. Like, just like he said, the old drunk got the old sea dog, which was a person, like the old man, was out asleep from being drunk, and inside was a rumpled sleeping area, and there were a broken bottle of medicine, which I forgot to mention. He dropped his medicine bottle. So she's not gonna get any as of right now, she's not getting any type of answers that happened with her father. None. And let's see. Nowhere to be seen. All the ships have been imported. Account assassination attempt, and last one was just heading south to Jamaica when I arrived at the docks. So, and then okay, so her great aunt or they're gonna take, because to make the peace hat, they are going to take from the stars or something, water. They're gonna put water up, and they're gonna get like star water or something like that would help with the peace hat. And it goes back to when her father was talking about the stars, and there's this glass dome that's speckled with reflecting stars, and the stars are the way to help us. The stars guide us through this world. They're always above us, but we can only see them when it's dark. So if you ever lost, you have to wait for it to be dark, so dark that you can't see the nose in front of your face. And then you can look up at the stars and begin to find yourself. And then a picture comes with it. It's really cute. And then, so then, there's this, like, clock made, and it doesn't really ding like it's supposed to. If you turn it, it doesn't really ding, but if you turn it, it turns out that it dings other clocks. So the clock that they had dinged one morning to summon all the makers. So this is when we find out the whole story about the makers. So there's actually 7 makers. One of them turned out to be bad. Okay, and you learn what all that had happened because they all go to the guild hall. They all go to the guild hall, and that's where the makers made their cloak, their clocks, their canes, their hats, their boots, their gloves, okay? And all of them, each pair comes together, and the one, I think it was a king that had started all this before. I think it was King Henry the 8th or 7th, or King Henry the 8th. He was actually a paranoid kind of guy, and that's where the whole do no harm came. And it's a motto for all makers not to do harm. Okay, so they show a picture. Here's another art picture of King Henry and how everything is to dust. And that's when you learn that it won. So it's the hat, the clock, the clove, the watch, the boot, and the cane. And the cane makers were a family who made canes, right? And they were the one guy started to make ones with harm, like the canes where it had the hidden sword in it, or knife or stick, like pointy stick. One of those to do harm, and he put in his bad intentions into it, and there is a symbol or crest for each. There's a crest for each family, and each maker has one. And the 7th star represents the idea that the makers shine the brightest when they are all working together. You have the hat, a pair of gloves, a cloak, but alone they are less powered. The most potent magic is ignited when 6 makers unite. So, and then they go on and this is a play on names because she named the Solomon cane maker broke the maker's pledge. And as I explained, he secretly turned the ingredients into weapons so that everybody would be friend of walking around without the protection of their own cane. Perhaps the most dangerous ingredient he used bad intentions. He twisted evil into each sword stick and made my hundreds before he was caught. But also, a young man was killed. And this was killed. The family was disgraced, and one of the kingmakers was still a little girl, and when it all happened, and they were made to go work in a factories, and apparently they all died, but I really don't think they all died. I think it is that jerk, Mr. That Lord, what's his name? Lord Whitwolf. So there was a knocking, right? And they all are like fighting at each other, accusing each other of different things, because every one of them was something was stolen, except for the clock maker, the old clock maker, and no surprise, he's no man, right? Right. So then Cordelia gets accused of stealing, and her friend says, yes, it is. I can't believe you, like, saying you stole. It was, you did it. You did all that. You stole and everything, and because there was something of hers left behind. And what was left was a ripped part of her handkerchief with her initials on it. And then when she was walking home, she sees the Swift the what do you call the newspaper kid who goes around like with that horrible newspaper, because he's been at each of the houses who'd been stolen from, and now she's seen him in front of the watchmakers, and then I think this kid is in it in some way, or made to do them. He's being told to control, kind of like because who's really behind all of this, and I seriously think it is because that Lord guy was saying that if they don't make the peace hats in the timely manner that they need to, they're going to never be able to make hats or to be makers again. They won't be able to make anything out of it if they don't have it by the neck. They don't have the peacemaker hat, gloves, boots, cloak, and watch by tomorrow. And that's when they run into the actor, who is still wearing the hat and being a nuisance, not a nuisance in his acting, and all the time now, being overly exaggerated of himself. So now Cordelia is in trouble. So that's where I'm at. I don't know if I'm going to vlog this anymore, but I will be reading, so this is going to be the end of the vlog. If you want to know more, then go and get this book yourself. If you don't mind spoilers or anything like that, and you've seen this vlog, then all power to you. But maybe the next vlog I'll have at least have the book finished. But I'm not going to. I'm going to have the book finished, but it's not going to be in the vlog. I'm going to finish this tonight, not vlog it or anything like that. But I have a few theories. I think that the Lord guy is behind everything. I think because he wants to start a war, he thinks that this magic thing is old-fashioned and not and not modern. So he wants to be more modern, but he thinks that everything about magic is ridiculous. And he's part of everything. He wants to start the war with friends. So, thank you for this. I don't know what kind of vlog, but I hope this finds you well, like my friend Andrew says. But wherever you are, I hope you are having a wonderful day or evening, and I will see you in my next video.